everyone, I thought we'd take a look at Greyfell today because he's one of the divine prizes in the current cards event, and I sometimes see some questions about him pop up, such as should I make him immortal? Do I just completely leave him alone? Am I supposed to send him to heaven? Can I bring him back to life if I do send him to heaven? And we're just going to clear up some of those questions, and I'm going to share with you some of my own tips because I actually think Greyfell is one of my more easier to divines to work with and get his gift from because I just completely ignore mine, and after about 35, 37 days or so, he dies. I send him to heaven. He gives me his gift, and then I bring him back to life, and we start that cycle over again. First, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at his description. This is my Greyfell on the international server because he's obviously not ready to be sent to heaven yet. I'll be able to show you how you send your Greyfell to heaven on my US account because my Greyfell over there is more than ready to continue on with this process. I'm not sure how long he's been dead for, but this is my Greyfell on the international server. Let's check out his description first because this kind of contains everything that you need to know about Greyfell. Greyfell is a divine horse that can rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Indeed, when a horse is not immortal, they lose a bit of health every day. If your horse live for at least 30 days from birth or rebirth, you will receive 2 diamonds and 20,000 equus if you send them to heaven. You can also revive them using Pandora's box or revitalize them using black orchids. Now, your first clue that you can always bring your Greyfell back to life is that he is like a phoenix. And phoenix from mythology, they would die and then they would be reborn from their ashes. So they wouldn't stay forever dead, okay? They would come back, and Greyfell's the same. He'll die, you send him to heaven, you can bring him back, and you can keep doing that process over and over again. Indeed, when a horse is not immortal, they lose health every day. As you can see, my Greyfell, he's at 25% health because he is not immortal. He's one divine that comes to you without a philosopher's stone so that he can lose health, die, and be sent to heaven. If your horse live for at least 30 days from birth or rebirth, you will receive 2 diamonds and 20,000 equus if you send them to heaven. Your first key here is that they need to live for at least 30 days. 30 days is the bare minimum. They can live over that. That's fine. Just make sure they live at least 30 days. You do have to send them to heaven to get the gift. There's a big issue that a lot of players, Greyfell will die. They'll immediately bring him back and they won't get his gift. And that's because you actually have to send him to heaven first and then bring him back and you'll get your gift. And of course, you can revive him using Pandora's box, or you can kind of rejuvenate him using black orchids, but I don't recommend the black orchids because to me you're kind of canceling out getting the diamonds and the equus by using a black market item, but I guess it just depends on how many black orchids you have in your inventory. So that's Greyfell. Now let's go ahead and send mine to heaven. What happens is that, like, on international, I have my Greyfell in a completely separate breeding farm just for my divines. When he dies, he actually will appear in my other horses tab, and that's how I know right away that he's died. But you can also check in your office because there will be a message there. It's just that on international, I have like no horses in my other horses tab most of the time, so he's just kind of right front and center. I don't always check my office, so I know immediately, oh hey, Greyfell, he's ready to be sent to heaven and be brought back. But on US, I don't have many breeding tabs, so when he dies, he's just there, and I never notice half the time when he dies because I don't log in here all that often. So what we're going to do, we need to send him to heaven first. Don't click to resuscitate him because you won't get his gift. Send him to heaven. Okay, you don't see my equus amount in this, but my equus did go up, so he did live at least 30 days. I got my gift from him. Now I'm going to click resuscitate my horse because I do have some Pandora's boxes in stock. Click on a Pandora's box. We're going to use it, and we can bring him back to life, even though he's 160 something years old. So that's it. That's all you have to do with Greyfell. Now, my biggest tips for Greyfell. Rule number 1 is to never ever make your Greyfell immortal. As it says in his description, he has to be sent to heaven in order to get his gift from him. And if you make him immortal, his health will never decrease, he'll never die, and you'll never be able to send him to heaven. So unless you want just a trophy divine horse that never gives any gifts at all, you'll never ever ever want to make him immortal. Rule number 2, which is more of just a tip really, is to completely leave him alone. That 30-day minimum that he has to stay alive for between birth or rebirth is 30 real life calendar days, meaning mean you don't have to put him to bed and work him for 30 days before it's safe to send him to heaven. What I do, what a lot of other players do, is just to completely ignore Greyfell. Like, I never work mine, I don't visit his page whatsoever, and he's always been guaranteed to live for at least 30 days. I think he tends to survive around 37 days, give or take, and then he'll finally die, which means I don't have to worry about, oh shoot, he died before 30 days is up or whatever. I know also some players will board their Greyfell for 30 days because then when their Greyfell is unboarded, that means that his board expired after that 30-day period and then it's safe. However, I just don't even want to bother wasting extra resources on him, so I completely ignore him. Rule number 3 is to always remember to send him to heaven. Another part of his description is that you have to send him to heaven first. It's not until after you send him to heaven that he will get his gift. Then you're able to resuscitate him. It's not when you use the Pandora's box on him that he gives you the gift. It's actually when you send him to heaven. So always make sure you send him to heaven first. And rule number 4, which is also just more of a reminder, is that you can use a Pandora's box on him. Remember that he's not like other regular horses, that because he's over 25 years old, you can't use a Pandora's box on him, or that you've already used a Pandora's box once, so you can't bring him back. No, that's not the case. You can always bring him back using a Pandora's box. That's all the tips that I have for Greyfell. Hopefully these tips will create a more stress-free Greyfell experience for you, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye!